Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to our October 2022 channel update. This is a 15-minute or so ramble where we talk about the numbers and take a look at the numbers behind the channel, talk about what's gone on for the past month, look forward to what I'm hoping to bring to the channel in the upcoming month, and then kind of talk. We usually set a few goals for the channel, and then I kind of share some random thoughts that have been rambling around and bouncing around in my head about what's going on with the channel and kind of how I'm doing with approaching the channel and things like that, oftentimes to get viewer input into the whole process and things. So with that being said, there's a lot to cover. Let's jump right in and take a look at last month's numbers. Now, August was the best month that the channel ever had. Had kind of a home run video in the middle of August that drove the views way out. So I expected views to go down by quite a bit in September as that video kind of hit its kind of waning tail. But for whatever crazy reason, YouTube decided that it liked two videos that I made way back in June of last year, and it just pushed those out to like everybody in the world. So last month, September, was actually pretty good again. It wasn't as good as August, but it was the second best month that the channel's ever had by far. Views in August were 140,000 views over the course of the month. In September, it was 130,000. So a little bit of a drop, but not as much as I had expected. Likewise, hours, 17,000 hours watched in August. September was 15,300. So again, a little drop, but not as much as I anticipated. We ended August with 5,734 subscribers. September picked up 1,137. So we ended up the month of August with 6,871 subscribers. So again, welcome to all the new people that have joined the channel. And with that, this is probably a good time to say a welcome and a huge thank you to our two new Patreon members. Patreon member number 11 was Andrew Heim and Sheridan Gatley. Patreon member number 12. Information and a link to the Patreon page is down below if you'd like to help out what's going on at the channel. So thank you very much for the support. It's greatly appreciated to kind of nudge my way up towards not losing money by doing this level. So thank you so much for your support. Also, I should say a quick word of thanks, speaking of new people and support. I'd like to say thanks to the 4 people who did super thanks, which is YouTube's way you can kind of say thank you for videos or series or whatever by dropping like tip kind of thing on that. And I just turned that on like 3 months ago. It's relatively new and nothing happened. Then all of a sudden, like 4 people did it over the course of the past month. So Parkera and Z, Bob Fanoof, and then Gregory Rogan and Rick Thacker. Thank you so much for your support. Super appreciated as always. So very cool to see that kind of starting to get used a little bit too. Now, I should also say as we so that's kind of going forward, I should also talk a little bit about videos produced. I generally try to aim for like 20 videos per month. August had 16, which was a little bit disappointing, but we had a lot of family stuff going on. September was 12. And there's a couple reasons why. Reason number 1 is the busiest months of the year with real work are kind of the last half of May and the first half of June, and then September. And I forgot how insanely busy it is, especially now that our work is kind of out of pandemic. I work in education, so especially that work's out of pandemic, this year is just way back up full speed again. And it's been crazy. Now, the good thing is that we've reached the end of September. This is now early October, and things have kind of settled down again. So I feel like I can come back to a human level of existence. But September was really busy, and that cut into a lot of video production there. But that's not the only reason. And I'm going to talk about the second reason when we talk at kind of the end of the video for like the random thoughts that are kind of rumbling around in my head. But with those 12 videos, what happened at the month? Well, a couple things. We finished up the Saving South Vietnam series, which was a tabletop wargaming series about the Save South Vietnam game produced by Fortress Games. Super fun. That game blew me away. I had no idea what my expectations were for it, how good I thought it might be. I had heard it was good, but gosh, I really enjoyed that game. I did it after action report style. Just had a fantastic time making that. I had second thing, we took a couple look at some prototypes, prototype of Iron Thunder, which it's kind of an interesting story. The gameplay on that one is really interesting. The Kickstarter, to be totally honest, has not done super well yet. So it's not necessarily looking very good for the Kickstarter. And it kind of a lot of thoughts on why. That probably could be its own video, really. But the gameplay on that one was really fun. So it was fun to take a look at that one. And then did a prototype kind of overview of Freezing Inferno, which is a Kickstarter that's coming up in the next month. So a lot of kind of prototype videos and review copies coming in. And I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of the video too, because I think that has a bearing on the lower production numbers members as well for kind of some odd reasons that I'll mention when we get there. American Truck Simulator, a couple of videos on American Truck Simulator. Again, with production down to 12 videos, there wasn't the usual amount of stuff to talk about there. And then Euro Truck Simulator, the 100th episode, which actually took like 4 days to make because it's ended up being over in almost an hour long video, I think it was. Super long video. So hour and 20 minutes or something, just an insanely long episode, but it took like 4 days to make it. But it was really fun to do episode 100. So kind of a big milestone for the Euro Truck Simulator 2 series. So I was happy to do that one. And then did do an overview of a really cool PC game called Destiny of the World, which is kind of a light Hearts of Iron 4. And that one, again, you can find it on the channel. It's linked there and stuff like that. It's a pretty cool game done by one person, a labor of love. So it's fun to take a look at that one. Coming up then, now that we're kind of talked about what's happened in the past, let's go to what's coming up for the next month. Now, one of the big things I want to get to, and I've actually started working on it today, is the full playthrough of Lanzarote Ridge. So I did an unboxing of it as soon as the game came in and then hoped to start on that last month. But that was one of the casualties of the super busy September and some of the other things that have been bouncing around in my head. But Lanzarote Ridge is the next kind of playthrough coming to the channel. It's probably going to take, my guess is like 5 or 6 episodes. So probably a couple of weeks or more to produce that. Looking forward to that. Then there's been a good number of review copies and prototype copies coming in for upcoming Kickstarters. So it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed doing that and kind of take a look at some of these newer games that are coming up. And review copies are really cool to get a look at too. We have a couple coming up next on the channel, which is Point Blank Vias for Victory, then Chase of the Bismarck, which I've done an unboxing for, which is looking really, really cool. Freezing Inferno, we're going to do another one, some playthrough on that one. Song for War, which I want to actually kind of leaned away. I have it here. I want to show you because it's massive and I don't have a video for it yet. I don't know if I can fit it on here. There. That's a big game. So it's really cool. 2-player, 4-player. It's a prototype for an upcoming Kickstarter that's going to be December or perhaps early January and stuff like that. 2 to 4-player World War II war game based on the Mediterranean theater. Easy to learn, fast action and play. So it's really cool. So I'm excited to kind of take a look at that one. And I'll be bringing that to the channel. So that's kind of the, oh, one more thing. Cube for Me storage solutions. So they sent 3 Cube for Me storage solutions to take a look at for Commands and Colors Ancients, Empire of the Sun, and then the last one is the Great Battles of Julius Caesar. So we're going to do the Cube for Me challenge to see how well the components in the game fit into their custom Cube for Me solution. So we'll be doing 3 videos on those coming up too. So lots of stuff with tabletop war games and things like that coming up in the month of October. I'm really excited to kind of dig into those. And American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, we've started our grand experiment, which is kind of to see which of the hired driver patterns is the best one to develop drivers. I'm pretty excited about that. And then American Truck Simulator finished up the Montana event in September. Not quite sure what I'm going to do next, but I'm excited to get back into that. Hopefully, once I get back into producing regulars at a little bit more consistent pace, those will come out a little bit more regularly too, because that was a little bit light for their content, especially in the month of September. And I don't want to lose track of those. And then PC War Games coming up. I do want to do a Desert Rats series. And I'm also looking at perhaps starting a new playthrough for a PC war game. And I'll talk about that as I get to the end of the video, because I think that gets into the idea of why the numbers were low a little bit too. So lots of things coming up, and I don't want to forget SnowRunner. I know there's one person in particular from Italy who keeps asking me pretty much every 1 or 2 weeks is, when is the next SnowRunner episode? And a bunch of people have put really nice comments on for that series. I've enjoyed doing it a lot. It has been one that has fallen by the wayside because sometimes, review copies and things like that, those take a little bit of priority. And then I want to make sure I keep up with the Truck Simulator series. So those have taken priority. So SnowRunner has fallen to the wayside, but I haven't forgotten it. I will get back to SnowRunner. Maybe not October, but maybe November, because October looks kind of full. But we'll take a look and kind of as we get forward on that one. So that's kind of what's coming up. Let's take a look at our goals for the channel. I set 3 goals, and September, again, it got kind of wiped out a little bit by work there. So unfortunately, the goals and how we did on the goals, yeah, it's not so good, really. 5 PC strategy games, nope, didn't make that one. Had 1, so that's good, which was the Destiny of the World game. Then published 3 tutorials, didn't even come close. I didn't even start thinking about the tutorials because that takes a little bit more planning than time that I had and things like that. So that one didn't make it either. And then I really wanted to make a channel trailer. Nope, didn't do that either. But September was, well, yeah. October is going to be better than September, I'm sure. So our goals for October, I'm only going to have 2. And one is going to sound it's going to sound contrary to what I'm talking about when I talk about this, but I think it'll make sense by the time I get there. My goal for October, I'm going to call this Vidtober, which is to produce one video, on average, one video per day for the month of October. Now it's October 7th as I look at this right now, and I've produced 3. So I'm 3 videos behind, but super mega gaming weekend this weekend. I'm going to catch up this weekend, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I've got a chance to focus on videos and playing games for the first time in quite a while. Now, goal number, so that one's, yeah, that's video. So 31 videos over the course of October is one goal. And that might sound like to some people out there saying, wow, that's putting a lot of pressure on you. But I don't think it is, because I'm going to talk about goal number 2, which actually, before I can get to goal number 2, I have to do a roundabout way, because I want to talk a little bit about the things that have been rumbling around in my head over the course of the past month. Now, last month, you may recall, the thing that I talked about a little bit was whether to split the channel into 2 channels. And so I just want to kind of recap that before I continue on with this goal setting strategy kind of thing. Thank you so much to everybody who provided feedback to that down below. Overwhelming kind of train of thought was, one, either do whatever you want, it doesn't matter. But the second one seemed to be, yeah, keep the channels together, because people don't seem to really mind if, for example, if you like the trucking videos and all of a sudden you get a tabletop wargaming video, it's not like that causes people to unsubscribe. They just look at it and go, well, I'm not interested in that one. And a number of people said they really like both too, which was cool to hear, or they like anything that comes out on the channel. So splitting it up would actually make it harder to find that. With that, I think too, what I'm going to try to do is to make, and I have those down below in the main page on the channel, which is all of the content for driving simulators and war game videos, tabletop war games, PC strategy. They're all split up by playlists. So I think I can make those apparent, like maybe put those in the description of videos. So if you're like a wargaming video, you can see the entire playlist that has the 130 something wargaming videos on the channel right now. If you like the trucking ones, you can click on that and they're all there too. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more intentional about bringing forth playlists for the people that may have been slightly frustrated by finding a blend of content between war games and driving simulation videos. But yeah, I think that, the general consensus of that is, for now, keep them together. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's just going to be the one channel, which will help too with being able to make more videos, because if you're maintaining 2 channels, that's more work just maintaining those channels too. So long story short, one channel going forward. Thanks to everybody that provided input on that. Now for this month's kind of rambling thought that's been rumbling around in my head: pressure. So one of the things I've noticed over the course of the past month, and I think this has led to a reduced numbers of videos, and I think it's led to, the first time in a while, kind of feeling and it's a mindset, okay? It's not necessarily reality, but a mindset in my head of it's been feeling a little bit more like work and a little bit less like fun. And I think the reason is pressure. And it's not external pressure. It's not pressure that anything is creating. It's pressure that I've put on myself. And I thought I would just talk a little bit about that. And I think it's coming from kind of 3 places. Place number 1 is, when the channel had like 1,000 subscribers or 2,000 subscribers and stuff like that, a video might get 100, 200 views, sometimes 300, 500, a good one or something like that. But for the most part, videos were getting a couple hundred views, 200, 300, 400 views and stuff like that. And then as the channel's grown over the course of the past 2 months or so, now to, literally triple its size, what it was, 3 months ago, I've started to get in my head that, wow, that's a lot more views. And the videos are getting more views. So I feel like the videos have a larger audience. So a wargaming video now, a lot of them are getting over 1,000 views. The trucking video is getting, crossing all 500 views, 600, 700 views and things like that. The PC strategy games, likewise, 500 to 700 views and things like that. And in my head, I've somehow gotten into my idea that, wow, like 5 times as many people are seeing this video now. It needs to be 5 times better. So I've been starting to hold myself, putting pressure on myself to ramp up the quality of every video that I produce. And I can increase the quality somewhat, but not 5 times the level. And the way I can increase the quality is usually by spending more time in production, by redoing stuff that like isn't perfect, or spending a ton more time editing, which means that each video takes proportionately longer to make. And when you're trying to do a real job and have a family and then try to do a hobby like this on the side, you can't spend 7, 8 hours to make a video. It's just, it's too much, right? And you could, but you'd produce like 1 or 2 videos a week instead of, 5 or 6 or something like that. And so that's one thing. I've been putting pressure on myself, I think, because of the increased kind of attention to the videos, to kind of raise these expectations on myself that the videos have to be so much better than they were before. Second thing that I think, I'm just going to look at my notes here too. The second thing I think that's gone in there too, is that there's been more review copies coming in or prototype copies. And those are really cool and I really like doing them. But I've also put pressure on myself because I want those to be really good and accurate and in-depth looks at what those games are. So I've put a ton of pressure on myself to make those videos like the best quality that I can make, the ultimate high quality kind of thing like that. And I'm also kind of, I think in that regard, putting unrealistic expectations on me to produce those at a higher level, combined with the viewership. And what generally happens when that happens, right? If you put these expectations of perfection on yourself, as you start to work towards them, you just end up getting frustrated, right? And it starts to feel like work, right? It's like, okay, I got to make this one really, really, really super good. And you de-emphasize the fun. And that's not how you get better, right? In any case, that's not even if you're trying to get better, that's generally not how to do it, right? You need that freedom to kind of grow slowly, to grow iteratively, to make small improvements, to keep producing. And that's really been the mantra, I think, that I've used over the past year and a half to try to improve the channel. Is I finish a video and I look at a video and I say, okay, what's one thing I can make better in the next video? And just relax and just chill out and just try to concentrate on that one thing, with the idea that if I keep doing that over 100 videos, I'm going to keep getting better and the videos will get better organically as I make them more. But it's not de-emphasizing the fun to try to achieve some kind of perfection, which is what I think I started to slide into in the last month. And I've noticed that too. When I talk about the PC strategy game videos, PC strategy games are the PC game videos. What I've found in myself, I've been thinking more that I have to be a really good player. If I'm playing a PC strategy game or even a war game, like, oh no, this has to be like a perfect execution of the rules. Otherwise, it's not good enough now. Or I have to really know what I'm doing when I'm playing this game. Otherwise, it's not good enough for the channel now. Whereas like a year ago, when the views were less, I felt like I had more of a freedom to say, oh, this game doesn't have to be perfect. It's, it's not going to get that many views, so I don't have to worry about it being perfect. I don't have to worry about playing really well. I can just concentrate on having fun and playing. And that I think that also is false thinking, because this channel has never been about like being some uber player that knows how to play the games really well. That's not me, right? I mean, it's not a priority I have. I want to get better, and I love thinking about the games, and I love thinking about the challenges the games present. But it's not about playing the games perfectly. It's not about having like 100% accurate on the rules, or playing like these marvelous strategies and things like that are just like top level player of the game that I'm looking at. And for some reason, I just kind of let that slip into my head too. So what I've noticed over the course of like the last 5 to 6 weeks or so is that I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself because of increased views to raise the standard of the video to something that I just can't keep up. Second thing is with like review copies, feeling like, okay, those have to be really, really good, and putting a ton of this. It's not external pressure. It's pressure I'm putting on myself to make those be better. And then lastly, with the quality of play and the execution of the rules, putting unrealistic expectations on me to kind of live up to some standard that the channel's never even been about. So the result, I think, over the past 5 to 6 weeks has been kind of this de-emphasis on fun and more emphasis on these things that don't lead to good outcomes. They don't lead to better videos. They don't lead to a fun channel. They don't lead to more. They stop me from producing a lot. Like I'll shoot the same thing like 5 times because it wasn't perfect when I shot it the first time, kind of thing. So I've been thinking and thinking and thinking, and that's going to be my goal for October, which is to de-emphasize all of those things. Like just take away that pressure I'm putting on myself to hold the videos up to some standard of achievement and excellence that I'm just not there yet, doing it part-time as a hobby, doing it to kind of just have fun and to show the games and stuff like that. That's not something I can ever live up to at this point in time. I think the quality has to be more iteratively improved slowly, and quality of play to kind of not worry about playing perfectly, to not worry about playing like this great strategy game, but just to lean into everything that I think this channel is about and what I wanted to make it about, which is the joy of play. Just playing games because games are fun to play and the stories that these games tell. That's what I wanted to focus on when I started the channel, and I've drifted away from that over the past 6 months or so. So, goal for October, long story short, roundabout way, after thinking about this for a while, is to kind of let the pressure out. Just remove the needle from the balloon, if you would, for this pressure that's been self-created. Nobody's put this on me. It's been totally me just kind of thinking on these things to myself. To take the pressure out of that balloon and just to relax about that, to let myself just to kind of grow iteratively and to refocus the channel and the videos on the things that I want them to be about, which is that kind of joy of play, the happiness that we can get from playing games, and then just the stories that the games tell, to really kind of just focus on that. Because we live in such marvelous times now. I mean, the games we get a chance to play and the history we get a chance to relive, the experiences we get through like driving simulating, the fun that can be, PC games, whatever it happens to be, but just to really kind of refocus on what I've always wanted to be the message of the channel and to remove myself from that pressure to whatever reason to make the channel into something that I really don't want it to be. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that down below. And I think with that, I've covered everything I want to say. So 2 goals for the next coming month is to refocus on fun. And then to go back to that number one, the outcome number one, I really like making a video a day. And that might sound like putting pressure on myself to produce a lot. That's not pressure at all that I feel. I thrive in that kind of, I love to run every day and exercise every day. I love to read every day. And I like to make a video every day. It's fun. It doesn't put pressure on me. If anything, it helps relieve that pressure to be perfect, because I can't produce a perfect video producing 1 video a day. So that's like this, that's a little bit of a push, but it's a sweet spot, I think, to help me refocus on that fun and joy. Because now if I try to produce a video every day, it's like, no, I can't do that. I got to produce it. Okay, enjoy it. Have fun. Let's produce it. Let's get in and just do this sweet, fast, and kind of create this fun video that I can share, kind of thing. So those kind of actually, they might sound like polar opposites, but they're not. And that's kind of why I wanted to put them both in there. Rambled for a while with that. Love to hear your thoughts on anything that we've talked about. Again, thank you to all the Patreon supporters. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you to the people that did super thanks. We'll see you in a month. Lots of hopefully fun videos coming up over the course of October. And again, been really enjoying the ride. I look forward to the next and upcoming month. We'll see you in November.